check. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, देवियों और सज्जनों, आप सभी का मैं इस्तकबाल करती हूँ, स्वागत करती हूँ, नमस्कार करती हूँ, वेलकम करती हूँ इस very popular segment of Unocoin called as #AMA Unocoin. You have all the reasons to be excited. I'm very sure that you have seen our creatives being sent across all social media platforms and you were anticipating this AMA. There are so many reasons why this AMA is special. Because first it's 15th of September, which is Engineers Day in India. Sir, Mr. M. Vishwanath was born today, and उनकी ही याद में हम Engineers Day मनाते हैं. So first and foremost thing, I would like to congratulate and thank every engineer who was born in India, in the entire world, who has become somebody in their lives or who have pursued other careers, be it in music, dance, choreography, painting, etc. I think the entire world owes so much to engineers because engineers are intrinsic creators, right? So सबसे पहले तो सारे engineers का मैं स्वागत करना चाहती हूँ, thank you बोलना चाहती हूँ. दूसरा, the most important aspect of crypto world is Ethereum merge. Yes, so the merge that was anticipated for quite some time now finally happened today, and we are anticipating a lot of different changes. In fact, betterment in terms of the Ethereum ecosystem. So I think that also makes the entire 15 September 2022 a remarkable day in the crypto industry. Third thing, Unocoin के लिए आज का दिन स्पेशल इसीलिए है क्योंकि for the very first time I have somebody from the ecosystem of cryptocurrency who has something to share across with you. तो हम हमेशा we always talk about different concepts that comes along crypto side or Bitcoin side or different metaverse side or NFT side of things, but हम कितना ही जानते हैं हमारे subject matter experts को. So I am very sure कि आपने सात्विक को जरूर देखा है, सुना है, but I would also was waiting for a moment जहाँ पर मैं आपको सात्विक से introduce करा सकूँ. Of course, it's not going to be formal this time. It's going to be very much chit chat kind of a session जहाँ पर आप सात्विक के सवाल भी पूछ सकते हैं. Of course, in case you have any questions related to Ethereum merge, आप वो भी पूछ सकते हैं. Bitcoin, NFT, metaverse, and every other technology that is underlying or beneath the mechanism of how cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin work. पर अब हम बात करते हैं एक ऐसे एस्पेक्ट की which is going to make this entire AMA even more wonderful for you. Together with Sathvik, we have Mr. Shubham Saini, जो अपने आप को द फ्रस्ट्रेटेड ड्रॉपआउट के नाम से पॉपुलराइज करना चाहते हैं, अपनी एक ब्रांड बनाना चाहते हैं और उनके पीछे की स्टोरी क्या है, why he is called as the frustrated dropout, why he want to be remembered as a frustrated dropout, ये जानना आई थिंक बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. सो हम इसको काफी ज्यादा एजुकेशनल तो रखने वाले हैं ही जैसे हमारे बाकी एएमए सेशंस होते हैं, बट आई थिंक इट्स मोर और लेस गोना बी अ चिट चैट सेशन जहां पर आप हमारे सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट से बात कर सकते हैं. तो फॉर्मली आई वुड लाइक टू इंट्रोड्यूस यू गाइस टू मिस्टर शुभम सैनी एंड मिस्टर सात्विक विश्वनाथ. Good evening again. Both of you gentlemen are, I think, would be great panelists for this AMA. I would just start with Shubham. Shubham, how is it going for you? कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
Good, काफी अच्छा लग रहा है. It's first time for me.
For me.
Yes.
और
किसी कंपनी के सीईओ से पहली बार बैठ के मीटअप हो रहा है तो काफी अच्छा वो भी काफी अच्छा लग रहा है.
Okay, तो मेरे साथ भी यही एक्सपीरियंस है. When I always, as I say, every time I start my AMA, I always say that it's a privilege to talk to Sathvik, and I get to do that quite often alongside you guys. So I think मैं बिल्कुल आपसे agree कर सकती हूँ कि सात्विक से बात करना है, किसी कंपनी के सीईओ के साथ बात करना अपने आप में एक बहुत ही privilege लगता है और मुझे तो हर दिन ही फील होता है. So I can totally relate. Sathvik, how is it going for you?
It's amazing. Yeah, like you said, today is Vishwanath's birthday,
yes.
Engineers Day, and I also want to pick up this topic of Ethereum merge.
Yes.
I think that is one of the marvelous thing that just happened, luckily, on the day on which we celebrate as Engineers Day in India. So if you actually look a little bit deeper, at the end, it doesn't mean anything for a common man as far as whatever happened now. I mean, it's future effects. Yeah, that means something. I get that. But whatever we achieved today, it was like a stunt, right? So where almost not many people know each other, but we're talking about the complete Ethereum ecosystem where there are tens of thousands of miners, and then there are few hundreds of developers, and then the software providers, like, and now there are people who are staking. So there is like so many people, coordination, all of that was completely achieved online.
Correct.
They are not physically meeting each other, say, okay, tum wo karo, main ye karta hu. That didn't happen, right?
Correct.
So they all coordinated and said that, look, it is. I mean, I would like to compare this to to an aeroplane. Okay, so where it is already running on an engine. Now there are engineers sitting in the same flight, so they understood that because it is already running engine, it has some limitations because it has been running since many years already. They cannot stop it.
They cannot stop.
So they literally prepared a new engine.
New one. And
Okay.
the entire migration.
No, then they started the second engine on, I think, September 6th, which was the first Bellatrix, I think, right? So since then, we were looking at, okay, are we sure we can turn off the first engine? Are we sure we can turn off the first engine? Okay, people are still there. Engineers are still there.
And
everyone is
still
still there.
flying.
It's still flying. It's not on the land. Okay. So after all of that, they say that, okay, fine, like everything looks good. And if something goes wrong, we will continue to be there to instantly fix it up, not keep it resolved, because it's, I mean, I'm talking about less, but in the industry, it is like a few hundreds of billions dollars of money.
Correct.
Of everyone. Then we're not talking about just the money of Ethereum. Then there are ERC20 tokens, and that has value. And there are companies who are building it, that has value. Then there are VCs invested in it, that has value. So many of the new projects are upcoming, which we don't even know about, that has value. So that is not a very small amount of people or companies that get affected if this goes wrong. So with all of that, you have to literally say that, look, you'll still be fine. We are here to take care of you, kind of thing. And then these people will say that, okay, fine, like they have to upgrade their miners, shift from one thing to other thing and whatnot. And now they have done it. It's happened like an hour, 2 hours ago, like about 2 hours ago. So now it is like, okay, it is like the patient is out of ICU into the ward. Now you are monitoring.
Yes.
Okay, is like everything going good?
Yes.
If something can happen, then like what to do, the kind of thing. So that monitoring itself, I would say it has to happen for 2-3 days at least.
Yeah.
Right. So because no matter how much you would have thought through, it will, there will be few things which no one have thought of. That's always some unknowns will continue to be there. Right. So I mean, like this level stunt where the entire world is coming together in such a decentralized way and achieve something, it's only possible through technology. Just imagine if we had to do a demonetization, how much of trouble people had. Right. So, but here it just happened. I mean, like people don't even know. Most people don't even know.
Yeah.
That's a difference. That's what engineers can bring to table.
Yeah. I think, yeah, of course. I mean, 15 September 2022 is going to be remembered in the history of Unocoin, in the history of crypto, in the history of Ethereum, and I think in the history of course, India, because it's Engineers Day 2022, right? So, मैं वापस I'll go back to Shubham. ऐसा तो है ही कि मैंने शुभम से उनकी जर्नी के बारे में बात कर लिया. I know where he has come from, what he has in his mind, what were his struggles, what is his motivation, but बहुत अच्छा ये होगा कि मैं उन्हीं से सवाल पूछूं और उन्हीं की जुबानी, he only narrates his own story. Why he is called for this particular AMA is something जो जानने लायक है, and I think it's worth understanding or knowing about. But एक housekeeping announcement मैं यहाँ पर जरूर देना चाहूँगी कि we guys are live from Unocoin's YouTube channel. We are also live from Twitter handle of Unocoin. We are also live from Telegram community, and we are also live from Facebook page and LinkedIn page, right? तो अगर आप कोई भी सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं तो आप जरूर पूछ सकते हैं. आपको बस ये करना है कि अपना जो भी क्वेश्चन है around Indian crypto community, around Ethereum merge, around Sathvik, in fact Sathvik के personal life के बारे में भी हम बात करने वाले हैं. But in case you want to have some kind of motivation from Sathvik's life, I think मुझे तो ये लगता है कि Sathvik और Shubham are going to be one of those people where from you can get some motivation to start something of your own. जितना मैंने इन दोनों को जाना है, of course मैं बात भी करने वाली हूँ, उतना I could draw parallels कि इंडियन क्रिप्टो स्पेस में शुभम ने और सात्विक ने कौन-कौन से स्ट्रगल्स फेस किए हैं और वो किस तरीके से एंटायर क्रिप्टो कम्युनिटी को बिल्ड करना चाहते हैं विद इन द पॉलिटिकल बाउंड्रीज ऑफ इंडिया, एंड आई थिंक बोथ ऑफ यू गाइस शेयर द सेम प्रिंसिपल अराउंड इट। तो मैं आपसे शुरू करूंगी शुभम, आप अपने एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड के बारे में मुझे कुछ बताइए। इंजीनियर्स डे है तो हमें पता है कि इंजीनियर्स कैसे होते हैं इंडिया में, तो यू कुड जस्ट बी वेरी कैंडिड। मेरी खुद की भी एक इंजीनियरिंग वाली स्टोरी है, बट अभी आप
मेरी भी एक इंजीनियरिंग वाली स्टोरी है।
सबकी होती है, तो विल जस्ट स्टार्ट विद हिम।
तो सबसे पहले तो आज इंजीनियर्स डे पे हैप्पी इंजीनियर्स डे, और अपनी मम्मी और बड़े भाई को सॉरी बोलना चाहूंगा क्योंकि वो चाहते थे मैं इंजीनियर बनूं, पर मैं बना ड्रॉप आउट, जिसने बीसीए के फाइनल सेम में ही कॉलेज ड्रॉप कर दिया था, और कॉलेज ड्रॉप करके खुद अपना एक फ्रस्ट्रेटेड ड्रॉप आउट ब्रांड शुरू किया है। सो दैट्स माय
but why you dropped out?
हाँ, मतलब उसके बारे में बताइए ना, मतलब क्यों ऐसा लगा? क्योंकि बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स आज के, मैं अपना एग्जांपल देती हूँ, बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स इंजीनियरिंग में नहीं करते हैं कुछ। मेरे को कैमरा फेस करना था, मैंने करी इंजीनियरिंग, बट मैं कैमरा फेस कर रही हूँ। कुछ लोग होते हैं जो शेफ बन जाते हैं, कुछ लोग होते हैं म्यूजिशियन बन जाते हैं, कॉमेडियंस। आप इतने देखो,
इंजीनियर्स आर एवरीवेयर।
यस, इंजीनियर्स आर एवरीवेयर। तो व्हाट वाज योर मोटिवेशन बिहाइंड creating your own brand called as the Frustrated DropOut? I mean, it's amazing to some. It's good. It feels so good to hear. It's like a frustrated dropout, frustrated Indian, frustrated anchor.
It's very relatable to every Indian, like frustrated word, because every Indian is frustrated in their own aspect. So ऐसा कुछ है नहीं खास तो, बट कॉलेज में था तो लगाने की कॉलेज मेरे लिए बना है। तो कॉलेज के फाइनल सेम में ये एहसास हुआ कि मेरे लिए कॉलेज नहीं बना है। पहले भी हो सकता था तो शायद अभी तक फ्रस्ट्रेटेड ड्रॉप आउट एक एस्टैब्लिश ब्रांड बन चुका होता। नहीं, बट मुझे वो फाइनल सेम में एहसास हुआ, तो मैंने फाइनल सेम में ही कॉलेज ड्रॉप किया। देन आई कम टू बैंगलोर आफ्टर फाइटिंग विद माय पेरेंट्स कि मुझे बैंगलोर जाना है, वहाँ पे कुछ करूंगा मैं अपना। बैंगलोर आया, बैंगलोर आके फ्रस्ट्रेटेड ड्रॉप आउट का कुछ शुरू किया, छोटा सा चाय की दुकान। उसके बाद आई हैव अ रेस्टोरेंट आल्सो इन मराथली सीकेबी लेआउट। सो दैट्स माय जर्नी राइट एज ऑन नाउ।
ठीक है। तो अभी भी आपको ऐसा लगता है कि मुझे कोई फॉर्मल डिग्री लेनी चाहिए? बिकॉज मैंने सात्विक से, मतलब एट अ पर्सनल लेवल, आई आस्क्ड सात्विक शुड आई गो फॉर एन एमबीए और नॉट। ही सेड इफ यू आर ऑलरेडी वर्किंग विद अ स्टार्टअप which is like so fast paced and technology driven and in fin मतलब fintech, तो फिर I think it is as good as an MBA, because MBA में सिर्फ आपको बुकिश नॉलेज मिलने वाला है, एक डिग्री मिल जाएगी, बट आई थिंक जो रियल लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस है वो MBA करने के बाद भी यही फेस करने वाले हो। What do you have to say around it? आपको क्या कहना है?
मुझे भी यही लगता है कि डिग्री वर्क नहीं करती है इंडिया में, क्योंकि जो मैंने अभी तक बिजनेस करा है 5 to 6 मंथ्स के अंदर, जो मैंने सीखा है वो शायद मैं किसी एमबी स्कूल से कभी सीख ही नहीं पाता। क्योंकि काफी सारी चीजें हमें बिजनेस करते हैं तो सीखने को मिलती है, rather than पढ़ने से। कि हम एक बुक पढ़ें, उसमें देखें क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा है, तब तक हम उसे प्रैक्टिकल नहीं करेंगे तब तक हमें कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा ही नहीं। तो एमबीए करने के बाद भी हमें किसी ना किसी स्टार्टअप में खुद का या किसी दूसरे का स्टार्टअप इसमें ज्वाइन होना ही पड़ता है बिजनेस सीखने के लिए ग्राउंड लेवल से। अगर हम एक एस्टैब्लिश बड़ी कंपनी में चले जाते हैं तो हमें वहां कुछ ज्यादा सीखने को थोड़ी मिलता है, क्योंकि हमारे पास काम लिमिटेड होते हैं। स्टार्टअप में हमारे पास काम अनलिमिटेड होते हैं कि ये भी हमें ही करना है, वो भी हमें ही करना है, वो भी हमें ही करना है। अब जैसे मैं अपना एक स्टार्टअप ही रन कर रहा हूँ तो सारे काम मुझे ही करने हैं, मैनेज भी मुझे ही करना है, फंड्स भी मुझे ही करना है, उस स्टार्टअप को काम भी मुझे ही करना है, देखना भी मुझे ही है, टाइमिंग्स मैनेज भी मुझे ही करना है, सब कुछ मुझे ही करना है कि करना कैसे है। तो ये सब चीज शायद अगर मैं एमबीए करता तो नहीं सीख पाता इतनी जल्दी, जितना 5 to 6 मंथ के अंदर सीख लिया।
How has it been for you? Because you completely did your engineering, worked for some months and years, I would say 1.5 something years in a established MNC, worked in the same I would say sector. I mean, it was not different from you. So like typical engineering job, and then you went out to study, did MBA, understood the marketing side of it. You also were very sure of where you want to do your, like in which sector, in which field of study you want to do your MBA in, and then you came back and joined, I mean, you established Unocoin. So how has it been for you?
No, I think, yeah, like you said, whatever I was studying and what I am trying to do is quite related, right? So it's, and I think that, say, I'm lucky in a way, so that the situations or circumstances did not pull me away from what I intended to do. So I am kind of a techie guy, and I come from a family of business background. So my father actually is just like 10th, right? So So, but still, he was able to establish a huge business and such. So, I mean, I'm grown up in such kind of environment, and so it was the passion of both sides, business and technology kind of thing, right? So that made me, when I joined engineering, I decided I should become engineer maybe when I was 10 or 12, 11 years old, by looking at one of my uncles. So then, yeah, till then it was like no questions, no looking that side, this side kind of thing. But after that, yeah, it was only about whether we should continue studying or I should go and work for a company for some time. So I opted to go and work for a company because I wanted to learn how the company works. It's more in that fashion. So like, how do they get freshers? How do they get trained? What are the procedures they follow? What protocols exist? What policies exist? So that you can only do when you are inside the system, and I am glad I did it. I mean, I don't know whether whatever I learned from it was really sufficient, but being a part of it makes us understand what others, when you hire someone, will feel eventually,
Right,
also.
right.
Okay. So now we can be more compassionate about that. Okay, at an employee level, like, this is the kind of things, because I was on the most basic level, right? It's like if just fresher getting into a very basic salaried IT company job of like development and testing kind of thing. So after a year and a half or so, I felt that okay, maybe it's time where I should do, because I knew that after, maybe if I wait for another couple of years, the opportunity of doing an MBA would be little different, right? So maybe I'll also end up thinking that the MBA is maybe it's not even worth it, right? So I obviously was not working for a startup like how we are working now. So I thought, okay, fine, we'll just do the MBA, which is related to both business and IT. So that's why I went to Melbourne for a year and a half. And that is when a few things happened there, like what I identified me to crypto space and to Unocoin. So like I said, I am just one of the small 1 or 2% of people who are enjoying the work what they are doing, and their work is also related to what they are studying.
Right. So we talked about capital, right? One thing is, of course, the educational background to do something, right? जैसा आपने बताया कि it doesn't have much of the importance. You, on the other hand, think that one way or the other, at least you are doing whatever you studied. Let's talk about capital, because when you have to start something, right? It takes guts to think out of box, take no money
Out
from
of the rat
parents.
race.
हाँ, out of the rat race, I think हाँ बहुत मतलब commendable job है rat race से निकल के खुद अपना करने का सोचना. एंड आई डोंट नो कि मतलब आपको कितना कैपिटल लगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं. आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, लॉट ऑफ ऑडियंस राइट नाउ वुड आइदर सी देमसेल्व्स इन शुभम और सात्विक. आई थिंक आप किसी ना किसी बकेट में फॉल करते ही होंगे अगर आप आउट ऑफ बॉक्स सोचते हैं. यू थिंक आउट ऑफ बॉक्स, लीग से हटके कुछ सोचते हैं. तो ये सवाल आता है, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? आई हैव टू बर्न मनी, बट वेयर दैट मनी वुड कम फ्रॉम? हाउ वाज इट फॉर यू?
Selling my phone. Firstly, I have an iPhone 11. After selling my phone, I have capital around 30 to 40,000. I started this business. That's all.
Seriously?
Yes.
But मतलब can my audience do that तूफानी kind of a thing? I mean, it's very stormy. कोई thumbs up पी के किया था क्या आपने?
नहीं, thumbs up पी के नहीं किया था. मुझे ऑप्शन नहीं दिख रहा था कि पैसा आएगा कहाँ से, और फैमिली से लेना नहीं चाहता था. तो एक फोन का ऑप्शन दिखा मुझे कि ये सेल करके पैसा आ सकता है. तो फोन सेल किया, पैसा आया. देन आई स्टार्टेड माय बिजनेस.
ओके, चलिए हम उसके बिजनेस से पकड़ के आई विल पैराफ्रेज दिस एंड मैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पुट फॉरवर्ड करूंगी. बट देन I think you are lucky.
No, there is one parallel I draw here. First set of money that I earned was also by selling phones. I was not selling my own phone.
Yes, I know this story. But maybe you can tell this to our audience.
Yeah, so I did my engineering from SCT Kaltumkar, like, which is about an hour and a half from Bangalore, right? So when I'm talking about, so this is probably between 2001 to 2005. So those were my engineering years. So at that time, these colored screen Nokia phones were just getting released as compared to just the white and black ones. And people there, especially the students coming from northern part of India, So whom we just call as Northeast, kind of thing. So they usually opt for anything that comes new because they generally come from upper middle class to affluent background, right? So, but at that time, Tumkur being whatever city it is, like a district, comparatively not advanced or anything like that, like what we see today. We did not even have. We only had few mobile repair shops, but not anything which can sell good phones, right? So there was whatever we see here today, like Sangeeta, Purvika, those things did not exist, obviously, right? So the only way that someone could get a phone in Tamkur was if someone brings it from Bangalore, or else maybe that there was no Amazon, obviously, as well, like to order. So I used to take up those kinds of orders, and I had one friend who was traveling from Bangalore to Tumkur every single day because he's working in Bangalore. So I used to take money from these students, sometimes even teachers, because they also wanted phones, good ones. So then give it to this person saying that, okay, today you're bringing these two phones, this one, whatever it is. Then used to bring the money in the morning and buy that phone, come back at night, give it to me in the morning. Next day morning, I used to like hand over the phones to those people, right? So, and it was little challenging for them to travel themselves, especially that the people in hostels would know there is so much of restrictions, like when they should be there and they cannot go out of campus and like multiple such things. So yeah, this was the easy thing, and I used to charge about 600 to 800 rupees extra per phone, and this Nokia 6600, 7610. Oh my god, I still remember those numbers. Right. So those are all the like very famous models, and it used to be like 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 range, right? So they charge about 10% extra, and me and my friend used to share those profits. So I might have done it for about 50 to 80 phones, yeah, in total. So that was the first set of money that I earned formally, selling phones.
Business runs in the blood. I don't have, even if I cut my nails, I won't find business anywhere. And that is the reason why I think I'm like very scared of starting something of my own. And I think most of the people would relate to me because I don't fall in that 1-2% वाला bucket. Paraphrase करना चाहूँगी, as you said कि उससे मैंने अपना business start किया. प्लीज आप खुद ही बताइए कि व्हाट इज द बिजनेस दैट शुभम सैनी ओन्स. एंड शुभम ने मुझे बोला था कि मैं पहली बार किसी सीईओ से बात कर रहा हूँ. शुभम आप खुद एक सीईओ हैं एंड बिलीव इन योरसेल्फ. आई थिंक एक दिन होगा जब आपके पास भी ऐसी कम्युनिटी होगी और आप किसी और को इनवाइट करेंगे और बोलेंगे कि बात करते हैं.
डेफिनेटली
राइट. तो मैं तो मतलब फ्रॉम बिहाफ ऑफ Unocoin I would want you to believe in your dreams and I think you'll be there. So you are a CEO of the Frustrated DropOut. तो आप बताइए हमारी ऑडियंस को खुद ही अपने मुंह से कि what business are you into?
चाय की टपरी.
चाय is I think the national drink of India.
नेशनल ड्रिंक ऑफ इंडिया, राइट. एंड चाय की मार्केट इंडिया में इतनी बड़ी है कि कोई एक प्लेयर उसे कैप्चर कर ही नहीं सकता. उसे कैप्चर करने के लिए मल्टीपल प्लेयर चाहिए. तब भी शायद मुश्किल है कि चाय की मार्केट को कैप्चर किया जा सकता है
कि एक इंसान और दुनिया वाले सिर्फ उसी की
चाय पिए. ऐसा पॉसिबल ही है ही नहीं. इंडिया में तो बिल्कुल नहीं, क्योंकि इंडिया चाय की नेशनल ड्रिंक ऐसी है कि दिन में सुबह शाम चाय तो चाहिए ही चाहिए. मेरी मम्मी सुबह भी इतना बड़ा कप चाय का पीती है और शाम को भी इतना ही बड़ा कप चाय का एक बार जरूर चाहिए उन्हें, मूड फ्रेश करने के लिए. कि शाम हो गई, मूड फ्रेश करने के लिए चाय का इतना बड़ा कप मुझे चाहिए. तो चाय की मार्केट अच्छी है, इसलिए चाय का बिजनेस शुरू किया था. बट चाय का बिजनेस चलते चलते ही आई हैव ओन अ रेस्टोरेंट नेम फ्रस्ट्रेटेड ड्रॉपआउट. वी सर्व नॉर्थ इंडियन मील्स.
So North Indian meals हैं. So is it a physical location and where exactly is it? तो अपनी लोकेशन के बारे में भी बताइए. कहाँ है
आपका? इट्स सीकेबी लेआउट, माराथली. CKB
layout थोड़ा सा concentrated audience है. Even though you are watching us from any part of the world, Shubham Saini's
माराथली बैंगलोर.
माराथली बैंगलोर. तो अगर आप यहाँ पर हैं और अगर आप भी मानते हैं कि you are a frustrated dropout, frustrated engineer, whatever, frustrated IT employee, frustrated Bangaloreite जो फ्लड से और ट्रैफिक से परेशान है और आपको चाय की चुस्की I think हील कर सकती है. If you are around माराथली आप जा सकते हैं. अच्छा, what are your timings in case मैं रात के 2 बजे बहुत ज्यादा फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हो चुकी हूँ और मुझे चाय की प्यारी चाहिए.
आप आ सकते हो. 2 बजे तक खुली रहती है.
2 बजे तक खुली रहती है. ओके. सो व्हाट इज सो स्पेशल अबाउट, चलो हम बात कर रहे हैं कि यू हैव अ चाय की टपरी एंड अ रेस्टोरेंट जहां पर आप नॉर्थ इंडियन मील सर्व करते हैं. व्हाट इज सो स्पेशल अबाउट योर बिजनेस जिसकी वजह से आप यहाँ इस एएमए में हैं, वो भी बता दीजिए.
Obviously cryptocurrency is my hook. I accept cryptocurrency in my restaurant and chai ki tapri as well through Unocoins and मैं जो चाय सर्व करता हूँ वो कूलर में सर्व होती है एक्चुअली. We make tea in matki pot and also serve in cooler, earth friendly cooler. So we don't harm environment basically. Yeah. And the cooler के अंदर जो अरोमा होता है चाय पीने का वो अलग ही अरोमा होता है. उसमें चाय पीने से मतलब बेसिकली स्ट्रेस रिलीव हो ही जाता है उसकी खुशबू से. जैसे जब मिट्टी में पानी डलता है तो मिट्टी की एक अलग ही फ्रेग्रेंस आती है ना जो दिमाग को फ्रेश करती है. सेम कूलर में चाय वही काम करता है.
Understand Shubham, I mean you are also I think selling stories and emotions. हम business की तो बात कर ही रहे हैं. Then we talked about technology in, intervention into your business, which is crypto, but then you're also selling story. Do you think you are a storyteller and this particular market of Bangalore would have understood the importance of chai or kulhad or मिट्टी की खुशबू and being environmental friendly? I mean, उसके बारे में आपका क्या कहना है? What do you have to think about it?
एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली लोग हैं बैंगलोर में.
Okay.
वो आते हैं मेरे पास, बल्कि मेरे पास जो आते हैं चाय पीने या रेस्टोरेंट पे वो एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली लोग ही होते हैं ऑलमोस्ट. वो चाय पीने के लिए इसीलिए आते हैं क्योंकि उन्हें हाइजीनिक पसंद होती है कि जो कप हैं वो दोबारा रीयूज नहीं हो रहे हैं और हम उन्हें डिकम्पोज भी कर सकते हैं विद इन 15 to 20 डेज के अंदर. तो उन लोगों को ये अच्छा लगता है. और मेरी मोस्टली टारगेटेड ऑडियंस जो है वो नॉर्थ इंडियंस की ही ज्यादा है. जस्ट बिकॉज धीरे धीरे टारगेटेड ऑडियंस बैंगलोर बन रहा है मेरा. साउथ इंडियंस लोग बन रहे हैं बिकॉज उन्हें अभी पता नहीं है व्हाट द कूलर इज. बट धीरे धीरे नई चीज प्रोड्यूस हो रही है तो धीरे धीरे उन्हें भी पता चल रहा है इस चीज के बारे में. उन्हें भी टेस्ट अच्छा लगता है तो वो आते हैं.
Sathvik, how did you finally give it a thought कि this is something that I want to do? I mean, जैसे he finalized on the food sector of it and he wanted to cater to this chai consuming part of it. How did you find out कि I have to create an audience whom I have to make crypto friendly? They were not ready. You had to create them, right? जैसे उनको the way he's creating an audience who is who is entangled towards the idea of aroma and chai kulhad thing. You also were a story. You had to be a storyteller, I think, in terms of community building or maybe I would say inculcating some kind of habit, which is investment in through crypto. Maybe how difficult was it?
Yeah, it was almost a nightmare. It's way too tough, right? So I mean, before Unocoin, let's say I was working like a consultant, getting money through PayPal and losing about 7% of the money, half of it for transaction fees and half of it for conversion fees. That made me think about we need a better system for doing these kinds of transactions, and I happened to stumble upon Bitcoin. But then I identified that okay, this is like an amazing technology. Roaming around on internet to learn about it, but that's pretty much the activity. And very few had tried mining. At that time, people could mine Bitcoin through normal computers. Yet, I'm still at that point of time, right? So that is pretty much where it was there. And when we saw that, okay, this is like a better way of sending value from one place to one place, and then I happened to go to a meetup, which was organized by other co-founders, right? So. And then verified this is a good market opportunity, and there are so many people who are getting affected due to these kinds of transaction fees, and maybe this is like a market we want to serve, and which has continued to grow. At that point of time, Bitcoin had grown from zero to about $80 to $100 already. Right?
You're talking about
2012, 13, 12, 13, yeah, 12, 13. So that was significant, right? So even at that time, when people were saying, okay, there was a time when this programmer Laszlo spent 10,000 bitcoins, then people were carrying, okay, like it is like $100 into 10,000. Oh my God, it is like close to $1 billion.
People were knowing around it, or you had to, use this fact to maybe.
This is one of the things, and people see if there are people around them who talks similar topics. Everyone gets enthusiastic and they want to involve, they want to learn more. Okay. But if you alone are sitting in your home, in your dungeon and doing your research, then you'll become a hacker or something like that. Like you will not become a community person.
Correct.
right? So you have to have people whom you are significantly interacting with, and that's the exact platform which we were able to provide through the meetup, and which was happening every Saturday in Bangalore, right? So, and it was only happening in Bangalore, no other place at that point of time, right? So yeah, that's eventually led to starting Unocoin. So biggest challenge is to tell what is Bitcoin, right? So today people learn about Bitcoin because it's almost there in one or the other form in every newspaper, right? So, but at that, I mean, no, it's not tough, right? So you will stumble upon in one or the other way, no matter what. But at that time, no, that was not the case, right? And if you literally, if I take like couple of periods to explain it, and if they don't understand, they just won't say that I don't know, I don't understand this looks like some Maya thing, like it's some
Beyond
digital
our
scam kind
capabilities to
of,
understand.
yeah. And a lot of people who think that they know a lot of technology generally think that okay, this is not true and this is a scam and this is a Ponzi and like, all of such. It was tough, of course, right? So but that phase was not like a month or a year. It was almost for 3 to 4 years. And at that, the growth at which the companies grow today is very different from at that point of time. So getting maybe 100, 200 customers a week was also challenging, challenging, right? So it has to be literally growing very slow, and the amount of money we'll be able to raise was very less because the valuations were less, because the number of customers were less, etc. And then you have to, I mean, in our case, obviously, whenever we raise, we have to raise multiple rounds of money to stay alive, to continue serving the customers, etc. So that's what has happened. But then I think from 2017, it quite changed a lot. So when media actually started talking a lot about this, it was one of the very bullish year also anyway.
Yes.
So that as Bitcoin price had gone from what 1,000 to 20,000. It's a 20 times increase. That's what, when on Jan 2nd it crossed 1K, and by Jan 16th, 17th, or December 16th, 17th, with the span of about 11 and a half months, it reached around $20,000 or so. So that was like one of the really good year, right? So that made, I mean, whenever there is bullish, people are interested, companies are interested, investors are interested, VCs want to get in. I mean, everyone is interested.
Everybody just makes money.
Yeah, kind of, like it that is not the overall end goal, and end goal is not that, but eventually the ecosystem should also grow. At the end of the day, this cannot just survive as an asset class forever, right? So its main intention is to make the transactions smooth and fast and free, right? So and that is what everyone is betting on today. And if that utility didn't exist, there was no reason for these crypto to even start and go on. And just imagine, like, if a chaiwala accepting Bitcoin was our example, saying that is what we want to see. Like, now we are seeing it, but there is this time gap of 10 years from where we started to where we are, and that too now we only have maybe Shubham or maybe few dozens of them. So having hundreds or thousands of them, it may another be 10 years, right? So the adoption, and this is we can even call it as a paradigm shift expected through a generation. People who are into a specific financial system will not just change easily. It's too tough, right? So it has to be their children. So they were talking about, say, 20 years to go from one stage to next completely. And in between, there are some transitions because people are born and they become engineers and but eventually, if you want to see something significant, then that's the kind of timeline we are talking about. So, but it has, I mean, wherever there are forward steps, right, it has not really gone back. Right, so if it is like it's not like, okay, 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward. It hasn't been that way. So generally, it is
to a position where it just go back to where it was. I mean, it doesn't go rock bottom.
No, I'm not talking about prices. I'm talking about adoption.
Only.
Adoption, sorry, yeah. So see, adoption. You should not say adoption is decreasing because price is decreasing and customers are decreasing. It's not that.
Yeah. Okay.
So they got exposed to it, and they obviously will track it for rest of the life anyway.
Correct.
Right. So they will stay either interested or invested, one of the two, and depending upon their risk appetite, they do it. But here, these are all investors into crypto. They're not doing anything huge, right? But on the other side, there are people who think that, okay, this crypto can do something to us, not just make you money, right? So they try to identify more applications on top of it, try to utilize it for something. I'm talking about globally. In India, it is like little different because of financial regulations and all such. But this is the good thing with this is like borderless, right? So it just whatever works here will work anywhere in the world.
Correct.
It's as simple as that. So that gives opportunity for a very normal person as well to actually get into it as a stakeholder, as a owner, as a part of ecosystem. And that's exactly what crypto is doing. But you cannot do that, let's say, in banking sector. How do you become
you are just a customer?
You're just a customer, that's it, right? So you cannot do much. And it could be anything to anything, right? So here, irrespective of how small, how big you are, you have something to do. You can do something, right? So that's what this new, and that's what is bringing millennials left, right, and center.
Yeah. That was again very insightful. I think it's a privilege to hear him out, and whenever he answers questions, his answers like this actually reading a book, reading a blog versus 5 minutes listening to you. I think I'm done. I mean, my quota of my educational content is like done. तो हम क्या करने वाले हैं, हम एक छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए रुकने वाले हैं. थोड़ा सा आपको टीवी वाला फील देना चाहती हूँ मैं, बिकॉज दैट्स वेयर आई कम फ्रॉम. सो हम छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए रुक रहे हैं. इन द मीन टाइम आप ये कर सकते हैं कि अगर आपने Unocoin का YouTube चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया, फटाफट जाकर सब्सक्राइब कर लो. फ्रस्ट्रेटेड ड्रॉप आउट जो है वो आपको Instagram पे मिल जाएंगे, LinkedIn के ऊपर मिल जाएंगे, Twitter के ऊपर मिल जाएंगे, और इनकी वेबसाइट भी है. तो अगर आप वहां पर एड्रेस भी देखना चाहें तो आप देख सकते हैं. मैं 2 मिनट में आ रही हूँ, और उसके बाद हम कुछ और सवालों के जवाब जो हैं वो इन दोनों सज्जनों से लेने वाले हैं.
Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app. To get your Bitcoin today, download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था. और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा.
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है Unocoin के साथ.
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं. Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
Are we live, guys?
We really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, फिर से स्वागत है आपका इस हैशटैग एएमए Unocoin में, जहां पर मेरे साथ हैं दो ऐसे अमेजिंग पर्सनालिटीज जो इस एएमए के पैनलिस्ट हैं, सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट है. टुगेदर विद मी इज सात्विक विश्वनाथ, हु इज currently CEO and co-founder of Unocoin, India's most trusted Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency exchange platform. Alongside Sathvik, मेरे साथ हैं शुभम सैनी, जो अपने आप को as a frustrated dropout बता रहे हैं, और वो एक अलग ही स्टोरी लेकर आते हैं. He is also contributing towards the crypto space in India. And अभी तक हमने बात करी थी कि पर्सनल जर्नी के बारे में, जहां तक मैं समझती हूँ कि it would have given you certain idea that these are the people who have come from us. I mean, हम जैसे ही हैं ये दोनों, इन दोनों ने अपने स्पेस में कुछ अलग करने का सोचा, beyond their engineering capabilities, engineering qualifications, beyond the capital that they already had, their family background, and they started doing something which was out of box, league से हटके. अब हम कुछ सवाल जो हैं, I'll take some question of yours because this hashtag AMA Unocoin session is about Indian crypto market. You might have asked questions related to Ethereum merge, you might have asked questions related to just Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, shitcoin, altcoin, whatever, mining. But I think I'll take all those questions up because I think आपके सवालों का जवाब देना जरूरी है, और उसी के लिए हम लोग हैं. तो यहाँ पर मेरा जो मुझे जो सवाल आए हैं उसमें से मैं शुभम से सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं कि शुभम के लिए आया है कि व्हाट इज द रिस्पांस टू एक्सेप्टिंग क्रिप्टो एज पेमेंट। आपका सिंस यू स्टार्टेड 20 रुपए की चाय के लिए भी आप क्रिप्टो का एक माध्यम चूज कर रहे हैं, हाउ इज इट फॉर यू, कैसा रिस्पांस है?
काफी अनएक्सपेक्टेड रिस्पॉन्स रहा है इस चीज के लिए। मुझे भी नहीं लगा था कि रिस्पॉन्स लोग क्रिप्टो से पेमेंट करेंगे, बट ऑन एन एवरेज डेली बेसिस पे 3 to 4 पेमेंट डन थ्रू क्रिप्टो। हाँ, लोग इसे एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं धीरे धीरे, बट अभी इतना अवेयर नहीं है इंडिया में क्रिप्टो के बारे में, जस्ट बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाई लोग इस चीज को अभी प्रेफर नहीं कर रहे हैं। बट क्रिप्टो विल मेक इट डेफिनेटली, इट विल टेक अ कपल ऑफ इयर्स, अ फ्यू इयर्स, बट विल मेक इट डेफिनेटली।
ऐसे हम लोग ब्रेक में गए थे, उससे पहले सात्विक वाज सेइंग कि एटलीस्ट इट विल टेक वन मोर जनरेशन टू अडैप्ट टू बिटकॉइन, एंड आई थिंक मेरी जब ऑफलाइन बात हो रही थी शुभम से, शुभम आल्सो सेड दैट इट्स गोना टेक एटलीस्ट वन डेकेड टू कंप्लीटली accept maybe 100% or most of your payments
yes.
through cryptos. So what all cryptos do you accept payment in?
I accept every cryptocurrencies, but the most of
आण दो जो आ रहा है,
जो आ रहा है आण दो, बट जो मोस्टली पेमेंट आती है वो आती है TRX में, हो गई USDT,
USDT,
या लाइक छोटे कॉइंस, बिकॉज उन पे ट्रांजैक्शन वो वॉल्यूम और फीस काफी कम होती है ना, दैट्स व्हाई।
But do you have an internal strategy you capitalize more on Bitcoin because you want to have a capital in a Bitcoin? I mean, do you strategize or promote your customers to follow or to give you one particular kind of currency? कि मान लो, for an example, you think that Shiba Inu has a lot of future, and you are like for 1 week or for 1 month you are just accepting Shiba Inu. Is it something
Shiba
like
Inu
that?
is just only a shitcoin.
but
My
Shitcoin
perspective view.
See,
It's no
of course,
perspective.
meme coins, shit coins, we think that they were not having any futures, but I think they are performing to an extent beyond our
Beyond our
imagination.
capabilities, right?
Exactly. So you never know. So do you capitalize? I mean, आप कुछ प्रमोट करते हैं कि एक महीने तो यही कैंपेन चलेगा, एक महीने तो सिर्फ बिटकॉइन, एक अभी इथेरियम मर्ज चल रहा है तो सिर्फ इथेरियम मर्ज, हाँ, तो इथेरियम में ही बिटकॉइन पेमेंट एक्सेप्ट की जाएंगी। Oh, yeah, I think I have given them this idea.
हाँ, आपने दिया, बिल्कुल करना चाहिए।
I will say that 20% off if you pay in Bitcoin or Shiba Inu or whatnot, right? So in a particular week.
I think that is also a great way for you to diversify your
my portfolio, right?
No, so you will and every morning you will start thinking that, okay, what I want to buy, fine, I'll just buy, accept this. So to some extent you'll be able to add some coins to his portfolio.
Yes.
Now you have given me a great idea.
ये मार्केटिंग का दिमाग वो ट्रांसफर हो गया।
हाँ, कर दिया आपने।
Yeah, so again, मैं see, it was all rosy picture up तक, ठीक है, but let's get very real. How challenging it is to accept Bitcoin? Do you you accept payments in cash, very traditional way of having money, I mean getting payments. Then you have UPI, GPay, Google Pay, Phone Pay, scan कर लो QR code, and then you have cryptocurrency. So I think these are the three main streams through which you have these are the streams जिससे आप को पेमेंट मिलता है. Do you always have something in mind कि नहीं मुझे मुझे थोड़ा नोट और कॉइन्स का यूसेज कम करना है, मुझे आई वांट टू कैपिटलाइज और प्रमोट मोर ऑन द क्यूआर कोड साइड ऑफ थिंग, और मे बी क्यूआर कोड अभी कम करना है, मुझे क्रिप्टो ज्यादा करना है. आपका ऐसा है कुछ?
ऑलरेडी यूपीआई ने जैसे ही बूम किया इंडिया में, कैश का ट्रांजैक्शन तो वैसे ही कम हो ही चुका है, बट क्रिप्टो ट्रांजैक्शंस के लिए यूपीआई का कम होना भी जरूरी है.
करेक्ट.
बट अभी वो फेस चल नहीं पा रहा मेरे हिसाब से कि यूपीआई को हम डाउनफॉल कर सकते हैं क्रिप्टो को उठाने के लिए, जस्ट बिकॉज कुछ टाइम लगेगा, जैसा मैंने अभी आपसे कहा कि बट क्रिप्टो जरूर आएगा. तो ऐसा यूपीआई प्लेटफॉर्म है वैसे तो काफी सारे, आपके यूनोकॉइन भी प्रोवाइड करते हैं अच्छे मैं खुद यूनोकॉइन यूज करता हूँ. तो यही है, यूपीआई कोड होता है, हर एक कॉइन का एक अलग यूपीआई स्कैनर होता है ना, और एक अलग एड्रेस भी होता है, सेपरेट एड्रेस, उसके थ्रू हम ट्रांजैक्शंस को एक्सेप्ट करते हैं.
कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि मे बी यू डू नॉट हैव अ हार्डवेयर वॉलेट एड्रेस, फॉर एग्जांपल आई वांट टू पे यू इन शिबा, ठीक है, बट आप शिबा का मे बी यू डोंट हैव एन हार्डवेयर वॉलेट, इज इट अ लेजिटिमेट क्वेश्चन?
He will be able to generate an address and accept it. Yeah,
right. Generate. It's just like I want to trade something on Unocoin, but it's not listed on Unocoin, so I will not be able to do it. Is it the same way with you as well?
No.
अच्छा, मतलब कुछ भी आप एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं.
जी,
because he has an
अभी-
address.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to just store it in some address and then use it at a later date. So not that he's liquidating it on day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So right now it is just one-way collection.
One way connection.
Whatever
right.
it come, keep on coming. Let it
Aane
aane
to
do,
jo
aane
aa
do
raha
kind of
hai.
thing. So even I think if he starts accepting, I mean, even if I think the number of transactions is close to 30% or 40%, because see, it depends upon, right? So for a person, let's say, who is selling laptop, he has to liquidate no matter what because his margin itself is 2-3%. But for a person who is doing some kind of contract work, his margin could be about 20%. So he can think not every transaction has to be liquidated. Out of 5 transactions, he can hold one, just hold the same crypto assets. But when it comes to I think tea and all those things, I think the profits will be in terms of about 40-50% generally. I mean,
Yeah.
like and the number of transactions, right? So out of 100, if 20 is happening, you still need not worry about it. Right, so because remaining 80 is paying you in cash anyway, which is sufficient for you. This is like your customers are helping you stay invested, right? So but if like Shubham says, if it goes towards 60%, 70% of them in crypto, then you cannot do, because you need it for your expenses, you milk and tea and rent and whatnot, right? So right now it is only like one way coming transaction. So he's just taking it to one address and says, okay, fine, you paid anyway. At the end, even if he thinks that he dragged the tea for free, it will not break his business. It's still okay, right? So at the end, for if it is 2 or 3 transactions out of maybe 100 or 200, it is not so critical in nature, right? So yeah, that is his strategy. So overall, so as long as you're not converting, you don't need to bother what you're accepting. You can just keep accepting, and you don't need to bother, okay, last week I accepted Shiba Inu at the price of this, and now I cannot even get half a tea, but I accept it for full tea. I mean, those things will not come into your mind. You just accept it and leave it. At the end of the day, you know that if you see the graph on total market cap over a period of time, for over a few years, it's always going up, right? So unless you're thinking what it is today and what I earned last week and whether I was, I'm in profit or loss, I mean, that you cannot do, because this is just like for the services you're getting it and just
I have got a question from my audience, and this question is for Sathvik. What is the future of Shiba Inu? And I think that is what I was maybe paraphrasing so much, because that was the question that was asked.
Yeah, that is one of the meme coins and
Shitcoin.
see, you cannot call it a shitcoin because for some it is like best coin, right? So it depends upon the person and the risk-taking ability. See, at one point of time, I should say that people were comparing normal money, gold, oil to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was appearing shitty, seriously, at that point of time. Now we are saying, okay, Bitcoin got better, the next one is shitty. But in maybe another 5 years, 10 years, it will again become like this. This is like good, and then you're talking something else should be shitty. That's also possible. So it's we cannot pass judgment at all. I mean, no matter what. But the advantages these things bring to table is that it's psychological in nature, right? So okay, for a T, I have to accept 0.0001.153 Bitcoin. That psychologically, that's like, okay, what is it? And you convert that into different things. But if you know that Shiba Inu, yeah, just pay me some 300 Shiba Inu. It feels easy.
Just
psychologically.
Lower
lower in value, right? So I think it is like 1 or 2 paisa, whatever it is.
Heavy on the psychology.
And you just and the moment you open the app, it's showing in millions already, and you got it by maybe selling something which is worth 500 rupees. Then you're able to spend it for 100 coffees or maybe 50 coffees, right? So you don't feel you feel that you have lot of them.
Correct.
But on the other side, when if you want to achieve 1 Bitcoin, thinking about it, it's like 20 lakhs or 19 lakhs. Today, it went up to 55. I mean, with that kind of 55 lakhs. So it's with that kind of price for Bitcoin, the dream that someone should own 1 Bitcoin will stay as a dream for a lot of people rest of the life itself, right? So that's because that is what the money you need to buy an apartment today. It is like 55-60 lakhs. Okay, and for that, people actually work for 20 years, paying EMIs and avoiding it. So that is, I mean, that's what we see in a country like India, right? So it's not that easy. Okay. But the moment they see that, okay, I have like millions of Shiba, that feels good. It makes them feel good. Okay. And then they print, and because of the numbers itself, a lot of small transactions, and transaction fees is less. I mean, if you can put it on Ethereum blockchain, and it will become costly, but there are ways, like there are side chains and like multiple other tech people use to make it cheaper. You can run it on TRX, for example, like the Tron network or Solana or whatnot, right? So if you're doing that, you will be able to do that, which means there are mechanisms in which you can really reduce the transaction fees and keep it light. So just imagine you only have like 1 lakh rupees ka single note. It's so tough. It's bulky.
Correct.
Even though it is a note, right? So the moment you have like 100 rupees, like multiple of them, then your life actually becomes easier. So wherever you go, so that's a kind of thing. You just want to make that lighter because you want to enjoy it for day to day. And also on the other side, interestingly, if someone want to spend 2 lakh rupees worth of Bitcoin for a laptop, they think, I mean, they have the Bitcoin, but maybe this price will increase in a couple of years. I will repent if 2 lakh rupees worth of Bitcoin today will become like 3 lakhs or 5 lakhs. But on the other side, all I'm doing is like 20 rupees ka chai ka payment. So that you don't carry in your head. Okay, that could have become 40 rupees. I could have get 2 coffees. You don't think that way. So that is like once you do the transaction, you actually feel good about it, that I was able to use crypto. This is a day I want to see. So something is happening. I'm like happy about it. So, and you actually try to come back again because you actually want to spend crypto. You won't have come here just because spending normal money.
It's just like we used to write letters and then I wrote an email. Kind of thing, right? And this like
So those are all like psychological in nature. It's not like account wise, mathematics, business. It's not that big terms. It's just like okay, just like it's a cool thing, and you just did, and you're happy about it, and you will bring next time your friend to say that, look, you said you cannot use crypto. Now I'll show how to use it, right? And here, and on the other side, if someone is accepting only Bitcoin, let's say, then the moment you see that, okay, 0.004 is your transaction fees, and when you calculate, okay, to show this guy to do a transaction worth about 20 rupees, you have to lose 400 rupees. Say that rare. Crypto is that good, Chordo. Just leave it that way. So you don't stress on it. So see, it's important to keep it really simple, and that is exactly the reason why we have UPI so popular, right? It is very simple. You just open your money, just done, and you're happy. And at the end, crypto can also have a very similar crypto interface. It is as simple as that as well, right? But you should have acceptors, willingness to take it and whatnot. But I think as time goes on and on, there will be more and more people who want to pay also, who want to accept also.
एक सवाल आपसे है कि you are accepting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, altcoins as well. Like, what is the most used cryptocurrency? I mean, for others to use. I mean, how are they doing it? Bitcoin है, Ethereum है, or do you even know it? I mean, do you chase numbers and do you at the month end find out कि okay, these were the transactions that happened with Bitcoin. These were the ones that had Ethereum. This one Shiba, this one TRX, whatever, USDT.
Yes.
कौन सा सबसे ज्यादा होता है?
TRX.
सच में?
Right.
बिटकॉइन से भी ज्यादा लोग TRX में चाय पीते हैं.
TRX में चाय पीते हैं. Because इन्होंने जैसा बताया कि 20 रुपए की चाय की ट्रांजैक्शन में किसी को दिखाने के लिए 400 रुपए खर्च करने पड़ेंगे. TRX में ऐसा नहीं है.
20 paisa, 30 paisa. That's kind of
just like
negligible.
20 to 30 paisa a transaction. That's all.
Nice.
Irrespective of how big transaction you're doing, even if he sells his entire tea shop after it becomes a big one, then even for that it's a 30 paisa. That's the beauty of tech, crypto.
There's one more question which has come Sathvik's way. This is around, I think, soft mining. Please suggest some mining software that can be run on our laptop and PC other than malwares, which can fetch some crypto coins without much investment.
Okay, so all the terms, if you put together in the question, there is no answer. Okay, so if you want to experiment using your laptop, yeah, there are methods, and then you're not investing. That's one thing, right? But you have a laptop already.
Hmm.
And then you think that, okay, I want a mechanism which will work where you will learn without expense of electricity,
Hmm.
right? So if those things exist,
Hmm.
right, very easily,
Hmm.
there will be people who do it at a scale,
Correct.
and your so-called small hobby or idea of doing it on the laptop and earn some money will not work.
Hmm.
Because this is decentralized to some extent, anyone can join, right? So if someone can do it if they think that, okay, with laptop I'm able to earn 1 rupee a day,
Hmm.
okay, and if they think that the expenses is 80 paisa, then they'll plan on multiplying it to just maximize the 20 paisa return. Okay,
Correct,
so
correct.
to an extent that your idea of 1 rupee will not work.
Hmm.
Okay, but it is good to sit and experiment and understand how the crypto works and such. Those days of doing some mining on laptops or desktops is gone maybe more than 5 years ago.
Hmm.
But where there is still an opportunity is when you take risk. So what I mean by that is, let's say there is a coin XYZ which not many people are mining, and it also don't have much value.
Hmm.
Okay, and you start mining it and you luck out and earn some coins. Today it is still very less than electricity anyway, or whatever invested, but maybe in a year it increases. So then you'll be able to catch up the money. The same thing you would have done if you just bought those coins directly, also would have got it cheaper for you. But as a part of your experimenting, there was a byproduct which actually became valuable, etc. So these computers are actually, I mean, you can even configure it to do Bitcoin mining also. I mean, just it'll start doing the hashing and whatnot. But that is absolutely not at all comparable to the real world mining power that exists, right? So it is few thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of times of supercomputers. That's the kind of power we have. And the laptop that we use is like, see, I can compare it to something like, even the comparison is bad. It's like a supercomputer to a calculator, right? And that is what your computer would look like compared to the full network of miners, which are very specifically designed to do a job. And they go to an extent where these integrated circuits, which you call like Pentium, Intel, AMD, whatever different companies, that chips will happen, right? So those are general purpose chips, right? Because you can open your notepad, do something, it works for you. You can play games with it. You can do small graphics in it. You can listen music through it because of its processing, etc. So these are multi-purpose, right? So it can do hundreds of things depending upon the software that is run on the computer. But when people use it for these mining, they go for application-specific chips.
Correct.
So the wires inside those processors are designed in an optimized way to do the mining faster. That's the only thing you can do. You cannot put those mining chips to computers and use you because it's powerful, right? It's designed to only do that. And with that kind of specifically targeted and created technology, you are competing against that which are in hundreds of thousands of them. So it cannot be profitable. So it just works that way. I mean, that's the reality. But good to experiment. But if you want to actually get into something and see if it is becomes profitable, such thing is there are mining companies which sell shares, saying that, okay, we are buying a mining equipment which is worth about $500,000 and we are selling 100 shares for it, which is $5,000 each or something like that. But a lot of times it becomes scammy. So people should be very cautious. And something which some companies which are there in existence since 3, 4, 5 years may be worthwhile if someone really want to get invested into mining. India is not a good place to do mining because electricity is costlier here, and temperature is not always friendly, right? So you need a very, very cool place with electricity which is like 1 or 2 cents, which means you should be able to getting electricity for 1.5 rupees per unit. We generally pay here about 7, 8. If it is commercial, it is 10. right? And in some parts of India, it is 4 also, like Uttar Pradesh. So I've heard of that. But yeah, it cannot be 1.5. It's not going to happen. So it generally will not fetch any returns than expenses. So it's only good for experimenting in India.
I'm amazed by the question because in last session also on Tuesday we were talking about Bitcoin mining and got a very good response around questions. There were people who were asking technical questions around Bitcoin mining, the feasibility. There are people who try to understand the feasibility कि Bitcoin mining हो सकती है या नहीं हो सकती है. And सात्विक ने आज तक कभी नहीं बोला है, but before establishing Unocoin, he was into crypto mining.
At that time, people could mine using the laptops also. Right,
Yes.
so we were trying. See, I mean, we have done so many. Like it's like Unocoins are not the first thing we did in crypto, right? So yeah, we were trying it. Some worked, some did work. Actually, we didn't get enough money that we thought about. That we thought of investing into it, and that was kind of again like how I said today. Do it only for learning. We did not think it will only be learning, but it will be some money also. But we end up only with learning.
So I think we are running past time. मैं आखिरी सवाल I would just like to wind up, right? मैं पूरा ये 1 घंटा जो हमारा डिस्कशन हुआ इसे wind up करना चाहूंगी और मैं आपको ही आपका पूरा वक्त देती हूँ कि आपको इंडियन क्रिप्टो स्पेस के बारे में कुछ बोलना है या आपको एंटरप्रेन्योरियल जर्नी के बारे में कुछ बोलना है, अपनी सक्सेस स्टोरी, अपनी फेलियर स्टोरी के बारे में बोलना है, एक मोटिवेशन होता है, थिंक आउट ऑफ बॉक्स होता है, कुछ भी आप अगर बोलना चाहें तो आप प्लीज हमारी ऑडियंस को बोल सकते हैं. आई थिंक वो सुनना चाहेंगे आपको.
सक्सेस स्टोरी तो अभी ऐसी कुछ बनी नहीं है कि उसके बारे में कुछ बोला जा सके, बट एक दिन जरूर आएगा कि उसके बारे में भी बोलूंगा. अभी बात करते हैं मोटिवेशन की. जो मोटिवेशन मिलता है काम करने का, वो मोटिवेशन काम से ही मिलता है. धीरे धीरे बढ़ने का जो मजा आता है वो काम से ही आता है. कि जैसे अब मैंने चाय की दुकान खोली थी पहले, उसके बाद मैंने रेस्टोरेंट ओपन किया, तो ये ही एक सबसे बड़ा मोटिवेशन है कि धीरे धीरे करके ग्रो करना. तो ऐसे ही धीरे धीरे करके ग्रो करते करते एक दिन सक्सेस स्टोरी भी जरूर आपको इसी टेबल पे बैठ के सुनाएंगे जरूर.
So I would say whatever you are doing is stepping towards success, and it is not like success is one destination. It's not that, right? So from whatever you started, then you are able to accept crypto, you are able to get some customers, that's a success. Then you are able to save that money without liquidating, that's a success. Then you are able to open a restaurant, that's a success. So these are all it is chapters one after one you keep on getting, right? And that's what you usually take it as motivation, right? So but it is and if you ask me, am I a successful man? But then I have to think about like, okay, is it like one thing I want to eventually see that to be success? Or if I want to say that, if I'm comparing it to last year, like 5 years ago, and what I am today, if I'm considering that to be success. So it is very perspective based, I think. So as long as
even you are saying आपके लिए जो आज सक्सेस था वो कल आपके लिए सक्सेस नहीं रहेगा. आज iPhone 14 मेरे लिए सक्सेस कल तक था, 14 लॉन्च हुआ तो I'm like deprived of the fact that I don't have iPhone 14, right? So I think I remain the same, but then my success also changes. So yeah,
your priorities change. What you need is the little different. What you needed 1 year ago is different from what you need today, different from what you need 1 year later, and too many external factors also, right? So I think staying on the battlefield and fighting and moving slow is still a really good. It's a good news and it's a success. That's how I kind of see it. And when you decide to go home, only then you call it as a failure. Else it's and you never do. I mean, like people who started something, they always know that where to scale up, where to scale down, and not to mess it up. So that is generally, as long as their intentions are good, they'll be able to swim through.
So motivation के बारे में तो शुभम ने बोला. I also give you the opportunity to speak or maybe wind up in your own way. Or you could talk about anything. You could just talk about your personal experience, your professional journey, Unocoin's journey, maybe the battles you fought, your success, your failure, your motivation. Where do you see yourself growing in terms of taking Unocoin along with you? It could be anything. You just summarize. Maybe Engineers Day, Ethereum, or whatever.
See, like how Shiva was saying that he is now I mean, people like to go there because it is also environmental friendly.
Okay.
So whatever Ethereum merge we did today, it is something about environment friendly also. Okay, just because there are engineers does not mean they always use up resources, right? So resources of trees or cement or like multiple things, and just only use it up. And sometimes they think
They
that
don't exhaust
what they take is more than what they return. Like some people think that way, right? But when it comes to Ethereum merge, then we now know that the amount of power we need, as what we needed yesterday to maintain the Ethereum blockchain. So what we need today is like less than 0.5% of it. And very interestingly, the amount of energy that Ethereum network was consuming is about, till yesterday or till a couple of hours ago, was about 0.2% of the power requirement of the entire world. Which means if you multiply that by 500, then that's all. That's the power. That's it in the world. That is a kind of power. Like it's massive. So now we are able to save that by changing something at some cost. I mean, like there are always trade-offs, so that we are able to do. So in that way, I think lot of times people talk about, for Bitcoin also, right? This cannot do more than 7 transactions per second. This will never be successful. Blockchain is slow. Then you need internet, and there's like multiple things they keep on talking about. But what I want people to see is what was before and what is achieved.
Correct.
Okay. So once you understand that, scaling up is obviously the job of engineers. It's not new invention.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So at one time we had bullock carts.
Yes.
Now we had to figure out how to make a car.
Correct.
So creating a car was the big deal, which obviously was slower than bullock cart, but it is still okay. But the moment the resource which drives the bullock cart, which is an ox, change it to a machine,
Correct.
you can scale up the machine to even today maybe 200-300 kilometers per hour also. But what do you do with an ox to make it that? You cannot do. Ox has its limitation. Okay, so the first thing that you create will not be as even good as bullock cart, right? But then comes the invention. First, what happens is invention, and then comes the engineering problem. And engineers are good at it. When they see it to be the future, and it's obvious like in the problem and invention. So when they see this to be the like problem and it is creating an issue, they will figure out a way to make it scale up. As simple as that. So till few hours ago, there is so much of things like it takes so much of electricity, and it's not environmental friendly. It's 100 different things, and it took some time to do whatever we did, but we did it in such a way that we don't need to bother about this for at least 5 more years. So now we are able to do a lot more transactions. It is much more secure, less electricity. All of that at one shot to say that, okay, I take it, just like we will. It's going from maybe white and black mobile phone to all the way to smartphone kind of thing. So then you only need to bother when iPhone equivalents come up, like that level, right? So it could be about 5 years, 10 years down the line. And this is what I mean. That's what excites me. So where we were yesterday, where we were before, to what we are able to achieve. And the way we achieved this is nothing less than amazing. Nothing less than amazing. I was thinking like, okay, can this work? Was my actual initial question, right? At this scale. Because a lot of people say that if you try doing this for Bitcoin, it will not work. That is different. But the way it worked, as if it was just.
It was a cakewalk. We
just
don't
happened.
know because we were not in those community, the foundation. We were not part of it.
We were not a part of. See, what you made others also feel is also important, right?
Yeah.
At the end, if you give heart attack to everyone, then like what? Panicking with them, whatever they invested, whatever companies they created, whatever blockchain they're working on, and different things, and then like what? I mean, your expertise, where did it manifest?
Correct.
Right? So if you are good at something, you do it in such a way that people don't even know you exist. Anyway, yeah, so good. I cannot talk about these things on other days. Glad I could bring this up on Engineers Day. Yeah.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this on this today. I mean, this day today. And I think बहुत ज़्यादा हमने आपका वर्क लिया है. I would like to extend my thanks to Shubham, Saini ji, the Frustrated DropOut. अगर अब तक आपने इनकी वेबसाइट नहीं देखी है तो अभी आराम से इत्मीनान से देख लेना. इथेरियम मर्ज हो चुका है, आराम से सांस ले लो. इनको आप चेकआउट कर सकते हो इनके इंस्टाग्राम पेज के ऊपर, फेसबुक पेज के ऊपर, लिंक्डइन के ऊपर भी इनका पेज बना हुआ है और ट्विटर के ऊपर भी इनका हैंडल है. एंड ऑल द बेस्ट विशेस टू शुभम. And again, Sathvik ko to matlab it's always a privilege, delight to listen to him, to speak to him, ask him questions. और इतने सारे personal questions तो मेरे खुद के होते हैं कि it's like more or less कि चलो सात्विक का नाम बात करते हैं so that मेरी थोड़ी ना ट्यूशन हो जाएगी. तो it's like it's more or less kind of institutional knowledge that I get from Sathvik. The entire team behind this AMA, behind the camera, behind the lights, behind the script, everybody, I would like to extend my thank you to each one of you. Next session जो हम लोग का होने वाला है वो होने वाला है मंगलवार को. एंड मंगलवार को हम ट्विटर स्पेसेस के साथ जुड़ने वाले हैं और एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक के साथ मैं आने वाली हूँ सात्विक के साथ एएमए लेकर. और उस हैशटैग एएमए उनोकॉइन का टॉपिक होने वाला है व्हाट प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इन क्रिप्टो स्पेस मीन. कि जैसे सात्विक ने थोड़ा सा जिक्र भी किया था कि प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इन क्रिप्टो स्पेस इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी और अप्रिसिएशन ऑफ वैल्यू ऑफ सम ऑफ द coins. It's much more than that. तो profitability क्रिप्टो करेंसी की दुनिया में क्या है वो हम exactly जानने की कोशिश करेंगे. और आपके पास 4-5 दिन का टाइम है, वीकेंड एंजॉय कर लीजिए. मंगलवार को हम मिलने वाले हैं 4 से 5 के बीच ट्विटर स्पेसेस के ऊपर. और फिर से बता दूं कि आपने अगर हमारा YouTube चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो प्लीज कर लीजिए, लाइक कीजिए, इस वीडियो को शेयर कर सकते हैं, बाद में भी सुन लेना. और जिन दोस्तों ने आपके ये वाला एएमए मिस कर दिया है प्लीज ये वाला YouTube लिंक जो एएमए का है वो उनसे जरूर शेयर कीजिएगा. फिर से लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, हैप्पी इंजीनियर्स डे. आप ऑसम हैं, आप क्रिएटर हैं, आप जनक हैं, आप क्रिएट करते हैं और दुनिया को बहुत कुछ देते हैं. अगर आप इंजीनियर नहीं भी हैं तभी भी
आज बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं.
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.